Hello, my name is Anil and I'll be the instructor for this course. I'm really excited to teach you guys about today's topic. That being said, let's go ahead and head to the computer and let's get started. Welcome back to the course. So today we're gonna dive deep into what Capa actually means and what it means to open up a corrective action and preventative action for one failure modes or one of the issues that you're facing, right? So why do you even open up a Kappa? Basic thing is to eliminate issues, defects, any complaints or non-conformances that cannot be closed with a non-conformance procedure, right? So it is a way to implement corrective and preventative action, long-term or short-term solution for any problems. And Kappa can be looked into two segments, CA and PA. So one is corrective action and another one is preventative action. And this serves its own purpose. So let's kind of go ahead and start with the corrective action here. First, to take a corrective action for or a preventative action for a problem, you kind of need to know what the problem is. Um, and it may sound easy, hey, we know what the problem is, but uh, you kind of really have to dive deep into what happened, when did it happen, how did it happen, who caused it, what is the scope of that problem, right? So there's a lot of things that we have to figure out to know what the problem is. Because the bigger the problem, the more time you would have to, or more importance you would have to give for that issues to be resolved. If it's a business risk that your company might be shut down tomorrow, you need to know what is the problem, how big is the problem, who is it going to affect, is it a health issue for people, or if it's just a company losing money. So those are the kind of things that encompasses what problem is. And once you kind of understand what problem you're dealing with, you would make your problem description, problem statement, and now you try to find the root cause of the problem, right? Because sometimes you know the problem and you don't know what is causing it. If you know that your sales are going down every month by month, there's hundreds of reasons why your sales could be going down. So now you would need to sit down and use root cause analysis tools, for example, fishbone diagram or process map, reading the process maps, or other tools that we're gonna cover in depth in this course. You would have to use these kind of tools to find out the causes that could lead to the problem you're having, right? And once you have the causes and you narrow down the cause and found of the couple of causes or even a single cause that could have contributed to the problem, now you will assess the risk of that problem. How big is that risk? Is it a life-threatening risk to people, or is it a business risk that your company cannot take because it's too much to take and it can lead the company for bankruptcy? Or is it a small risk that a company can take but you actively want to mitigate that risk, so you assess the risk? A good tool to use for risk analysis and risk evaluation and risk control is PFMEAs, DFMEAs. So I have a separate course that I have gone really in depth about risk management in medical device and pharmaceutical industry. I really encourage you guys to check, because that's another different department that the companies have, and the different regulations that the companies are required to follow in order to control the business risk or risk from their devices to the patient, right? So I really recommend you guys to check that course to learn about risk management. But here we'll kind of talk about risk management in general. And once you kind of identified the risk, the severity and the probability of occurrence of the risk, you kind of know how much risk it is: high risk, medium risk, low risk, right? So based on that, you now start looking for solution to reduce those risks and to eliminate that problem. And when you're doing all of this, you would have to have a Kappa team available. You need to work with quality department, quality engineering, or quality control department, and you need to document all these steps. These are the part of Kappas, and these are getting audited by your FDA auditor or ISO auditor. So you always want to make sure that if you're stating a problem statement under Kappa, you document it and you review it to the quality or whoever your engineering change order team is, right? So that's a little bit about corrective action side. And if you want to go to the preventative action, that would be a long-term solution. Corrective action can sometimes people think of it as a short-term solution. It can correct the issue, but not prevent it from occurring. So in preventative action, you brainstorm and document all the possible solutions that you can have to mitigate that issue that you're having, right? You can use fishbone diagram where you can brainstorm a lot of causes that can lead to that possible problem. And if you have a lot of causes, once you know narrow down the causes, you could have solutions. And once you have solutions, you have to test if that solution is even the right solution, right? So you can employ things like design of experiments, DOE, where you basically make one of those variables wrong that you think is causing the issue, right? And then at the end of the experiment, you should be able to reproduce that problem that you're basically observing in the first place. So that's how you kind of test your solution for robustness. If that was the issue that you tested and found out would cause and correlate to that problem, now you would have easier time finding a solution for that. Once you found a solution, you need to implement action items to implement that solution in your business and organization. And you'll have to make different action items that lead you to that final solution. We'll talk in depth about all these things we're talking about right now, but this is a little overview so that you guys know what Capa entails and you have a bigger picture of everything that we'll be covering. And once you have implemented the solution, now you have to do a risk evaluation, right? Um, Please visit my class, another class, risk management for medical device and pharmaceutical industry to learn more about risk evaluation. But then you have to look at the solution that you implemented. Does it have any other risk that you haven't looked at? Is it gonna affect your companies in a ways that you didn't expect? So that's one thing you have to look at, and you need to do risk evaluation and risk evaluation report, risk assessment, and all of that kind of stuff. And so you already validated the solution. If you haven't, do some tests, small study test and everything, and make sure that the solution works and it prevents that the problem from happening. And once you implemented that solution, now you monitor the effectiveness. You collect data. If by the time I implemented this solution, we had zero failures from of this issue. Before, we had 30 failures in 3 months. After 3 months of implementing this, we have zero failures. So that tells you that your Kappa really worked. So capturing data is a very important part of monitoring the effectiveness of Kappa. So that being said, we kind of touched on what Kappa is and kind of went into a big picture. I think you guys got a really good overall picture of how Kappa should look. So now what we're going to do is we're going to dissect each of these and basically help you guys to start the Kappa system from scratch. That being said, I'll see you guys in the next class. Well, I hope you liked the lecture today. If you want to learn in depth on this area and if you want to be an expert in this area, please go ahead and visit the link below to get into our Udemy course, which will teach you from zero to become an expert in areas such as risk management and Kappa systems. With that being said, I'll see you on the course.